Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 178, The Distant Aunt. The train rattled along the tracks, the rhythmic clickety-clack a soothing lullaby for most passengers, but not for Amelia. She sat stiffly in her seat, her hands clenched, her eyes glued to the window. She was nervous, almost panicking. Amelia was on her way to visit her aunt for the first time. They hadn't seen each other in years, ever since Amelia's parents had passed away. Now, her aunt, living alone in a remote village in Scotland, had fallen ill, and Amelia felt compelled to go. As the train plunged deeper into the Scottish countryside, the landscape transformed. Rolling hills dotted with grazing sheep replaced the urban sprawl. Amelia, despite her anxiety, couldn't help but be captivated by the beauty of it all. The train finally arrived at a tiny station, barely more than a platform and a weathered sign. Amelia stepped off, feeling a little lost. She had never been to this part of the country before. Suddenly a voice called out, "Amelia!" She turned to see a woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Yes, that's me," she replied, a little hesitant. "I'm Margaret, your aunt," the woman said, extending a hand. "Welcome to Scotland." Relief washed over Amelia. Her aunt looked nothing like she'd imagined. Younger, more vibrant. Margaret led her through the station and out into the village. It was a quaint place with stone cottages nestled around a small square. The air was crisp and clean, the only sounds the chirping of birds and the distant bleating of sheep. Amelia felt a sense of calm settle over her. This wasn't the daunting visit she'd anticipated. Margaret's cottage was small but cosy, filled with books and the aroma of freshly baked bread. As they settled in, Margaret explained her illness. It was nothing serious, but it had left her feeling weak and isolated. Amelia listened intently, feeling a surge of protectiveness towards this woman she barely knew. She spent the next few days helping Margaret around the house, running errands and simply keeping her company. They talked for hours, catching up on lost years. Amelia learned about Margaret's life in the village, her love for gardening, and her passion for local history. Margaret, in turn, listened patiently to Amelia's stories about her life in the city. One evening, as they sat by the fire sipping tea, Margaret said, "You know, Amelia, you've been a lifesaver this week. I don't know what I would have done without you." Amelia smiled. "It's been my pleasure, Aunt Margaret. I'm so glad I came." As the days passed, Amelia felt a growing sense of belonging in this quiet village. She enjoyed the simple life, the fresh air, and the close-knit community. She even started helping out at the local library, sharing her love of books with the villagers. One morning, as Amelia was helping Margaret in the garden, a car pulled up. A young man stepped out, his face filled with concern. "Margaret, I just heard about your fall," he said, rushing towards her. "Oh, it's nothing, David," Margaret reassured him. "Just a bit of a mishap." Amelia watched as they talked, noticing the warmth in the young man's eyes. He introduced himself as David, a local farmer who often helped Margaret with chores. As the weeks went by, Amelia found herself spending more and more time with David. They went for walks in the hills, shared picnics by the river, and talked for hours about their dreams and aspirations. Amelia realised that her unexpected visit to Scotland had turned into something much more. She had found not only a connection with her aunt, but also a potential new beginning in this charming village. The day finally came for Amelia to return to the city. As she said goodbye to Margaret and David, she knew she wouldn't be a stranger anymore. This wasn't just a visit, it was the start of a new chapter in her life. Back in the city, Amelia found it hard to settle back into her old routine. The bustling streets and towering buildings felt suffocating compared to the open spaces and fresh air of the village. She missed Margaret's warm smile, the smell of freshly baked bread, and the quiet evenings by the fire. One day while browsing online, Amelia stumbled upon a job advertisement for a library in the village. Her heart skipped a beat. This was her chance. She applied for the position, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she wrote about her experience and her passion for books. A few days later, she received an email inviting her for an interview. The interview was held in the village hall, a cosy space filled with bookshelves and the faint scent of old paper. The interview panel consisted of 2 friendly women, the head librarian and a local council member. Amelia spoke confidently about her love for books and her desire to be part of the community. She also mentioned her connection to Margaret, which seemed to resonate with the panel. A week later, Amelia received the news she'd been hoping for. She had gotten the job. Over the next few months, Amelia settled into her new life in the village. She quickly became a familiar face at the library, helping patrons find books, organising events, and even starting a book club. David, too, became a constant presence in her life. They spent their free time exploring the countryside, going on picnics and sharing stories under the starry sky. One evening as they sat by the loch, watching the sunset paint the water in vibrant hues, David took Amelia's hand. "Amelia," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "I know we haven't known each other for long, but I feel a connection with you that I've never experienced before. I care about you deeply." Amelia's heart fluttered. She felt the same way about David. He was kind, genuine, and shared her love for the simple things in life. "I care about you too, David," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. As they leaned in for a kiss, the setting sun cast a warm glow on their faces, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Amelia had come to Scotland to visit a sick aunt, but she had found something much more: a new home, a fulfilling career, and a love that felt like it was meant to be. The unexpected guest had become a permanent resident, her heart finally finding peace and belonging in the quiet beauty of the Scottish village. Vocabulary notes: rattled, shaken or vibrated noisily. Lullaby, a soothing song sung to put a child to sleep. Panicking, feeling sudden fear and anxiety. Remote, isolated and far away. Captivated, completely absorbed and interested. Hesitant, uncertain and lacking confidence. Protectiveness, a strong desire to keep someone safe. Quaint, charmingly old-fashioned. Chirping, the sound made by small birds. Mishap, an unfortunate accident or mistake. Concern, worry or anxiety. Aspirations, hopes and ambitions. Fluttering, beating rapidly, especially with excitement or nervousness. Vibrant, bright and intense in colour. Resident, someone who lives in a particular place. Peace and belonging, a feeling of contentment and being part of something. Sprawl, an area of land covered with buildings and houses. Head librarian, the person in charge of a library. Council member, a member of a local government body. Patrons, people who regularly use a library. Book club, a group of people who meet to discuss books. Loch, a large lake in Scotland. Story written by Google Bard AI, image created by ImageFX AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Hello, this is Steve. If you enjoyed the story, please would you take the time to leave a meaningful comment and click on the like icon. If you want to know when the next story has been uploaded, please click on the notify bell icon to be notified. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tell your English learning friends so they can benefit too. Thank you.